In the years that followed the rise of Oba Eweka I, the land of Benin did not simply breathe, it awakened. The red earth stretched wide beneath the sun like a living tapestry, pulsing with the footsteps of traders, hunters, priests, and children whose laughter carried like birdsong through the air. The great walls of the kingdom rose higher than memory itself, etched with stories in mud and bronze, whispering the triumph of a new era. Yet, as every elder knew, when a kingdom rises, unseen forces stir, for not all spirits rejoice in the ascent of men. The whisper beneath the earth. It began quietly. At first it was nothing more than a murmur beneath the soil, so faint that only the oldest trees seemed to hear it. Their leaves shivered without wind. Their roots tightened in the earth, like fingers gripping secrets. In the sacred grove of Ugoton, where the priests spoke to the ancestors, the chief priest, Ohenokun, awoke one night with a start. Sweat clung to his skin, despite the coolness of the night air. He had dreamt of a drum, not a drum played by human hands, but one that beat from beneath the ground. Boom, boom, boom. Slow, heavy, patient. The kind of sound that does not call for dancing, but for reckoning. By dawn, Ohenokun had already sent word to the palace of Kohal and shadows. Oba Eweka I sat upon his throne, adorned in coral beads that glowed like embers in the morning light. His gaze was steady, his presence commanding yet calm, the mark of a ruler chosen not merely by blood, but by destiny. The court gathered before him, chiefs wrapped in flowing garments, warriors with scarred arms and sharp eyes, and elders whose silence held more weight than words. When Ohenokun spoke, the room grew still. "There is a stirring beneath us," he said, his voice low but unshaken. "The earth remembers something we have forgotten." A murmur rippled through the court. "What does the earth remember?" one chief asked. Ohenokun closed his eyes briefly, as though listening to something far away. "It remembers a promise broken. The legend of the buried king. Long before the reign of Eweka, before the walls, before the order of the court, there had been a ruler known only in whispers. Oba Oranmiyan's forgotten shadow, a king whose name had been erased from songs. They said he sought power not from the ancestors, but from the depths, where ancient spirits, older than memory, slept beneath the earth. He made a pact. In exchange for strength beyond human limits, he would offer the kingdom's future. But the people rebelled. The priests intervened. The pact was broken before it could be fulfilled. The king was not killed. He was buried, alive, sealed beneath the earth, with sacred rites, bound by oaths and erased from history. But oaths, like roots, can weaken over time. The first sign. 3 nights after Ohenokun's warning, the first sign appeared. A child named Izebokun, known for her laughter that could soften even the hardest hearts, fell suddenly silent. Her mother found her staring at the ground outside their hut, her small fingers tracing patterns in the dirt. "I hear it," the child whispered. "Hear what?" her mother asked, kneeling beside her. "The drum." That same night, cracks began to form in the earth near the old grove. Thin at first, like veins, but growing wider with each passing hour. And from those cracks came a sound. Boom, boom, boom. The gathering of the 7 Oba Eweka. I did not wait. He summoned the 7, a council of the most powerful spiritual and earthly figures in the kingdom. Ohenokun, the chief priest, Ioba Idea's spiritual successor, a woman known as Egosa, the seer Ogeriaki, the war chief Igun Eronwan, master of bronze and keeper of ancestral craft, Osazi, a hunter who spoke to the forest Ekpenede, a healer who understood the language of herbs, and the Oba himself. They gathered in the sacred chamber beneath the palace, where the air was thick with incense and memory. Egosa spoke first. "This is not merely a spirit rising," she said. "It is a debt returning." The child who sees Izebokun was brought before the council. She did not bow, not out of disrespect, but because her eyes were fixed on something none of them could see. "It is waking," she said. "What is waking?" Oba Eweka asked gently. "The one who was buried." A chill passed through the chamber. "He is not alone," she continued. "He has learned. He has grown. The earth has taught him patience and hunger." Journey to the Forgotten Grove. The seven set out at dawn, accompanied by warriors and priests. The path to the grove was one few dared to tread, a place where shadows lingered even under the brightest sun. The air grew heavier with each step, thick with the scent of damp earth and something older, something watching. When they arrived, the ground had split open. At the center of the grove, a massive fissure yawned like the mouth of the earth itself, and from within it, a glow, not of fire, but of something deeper, something alive. The voice from below. As they approached, the drumbeat grew louder. Boom, boom, boom. Then a voice, low, echoing, ancient. "You remember me at last?" The ground trembled. "I have waited, while your kingdom rose upon the bones of my promise." Oba Eweka stepped forward, spear in hand. "You have no place among the living," he declared. A laugh rose from the depths, cold and endless. "I was never among the living." The breaking of seals. Ohenokun began the rites immediately, chanting words that had not been spoken in generations. Egosa joined him, her voice weaving through his like threads binding a wound. But the earth resisted. The seals placed centuries ago had weakened, and something was pushing through. A hand emerged from the fissure. Not flesh, not bone, but something in between. Dark, cracked, glowing faintly from within. The buried king was rising. The battle of spirits and steel. What followed was not a battle of warriors alone. It was a clash between worlds. Eweka and his men struck at the emerging form, their weapons clashing against something that felt both solid and shifting. Osaze called upon the forest, and the trees themselves seemed to bend, their roots tightening around the fissure. Ekpenede scattered sacred herbs, their smoke rising in spirals that shimmered with unseen power. But still, he rose, the child's choice. Amid the chaos, Izebokun stepped forward. "No," her mother cried, but the child did not stop. She walked to the edge of the fissure and knelt. "He is not just a king," she said softly. "He is a mistake." The voice from below paused. "A mistake?" it echoed. "Yes," she said, "and mistakes can be undone." The council fell silent. Even the drumbeat slowed. The final rite. Egosa's eyes widened. "The child is right," she whispered. "This is not a battle to be won, but a story to be corrected." Ohenokun nodded. The pact must be reversed, not broken. They began a new chant, one not of binding, but of rewriting. A ritual of memory, of truth, of balance, the fall and the rising. As the chant grew stronger, the form of the buried king began to falter. The glow dimmed, the cracks in his body deepened. "You would erase me?" he roared. "No," Oba Eweka said, stepping forward. "We would remember you correctly." And with that, the final words were spoken. The earth closed. The drum fell silent. A kingdom that remembers. In the days that followed, the cracks in the land healed. The grove remained, But it was no longer feared. A new shrine was built there, not to honor the buried king, but to remember the danger of forgotten truths. Izebokun returned to her laughter. Ohenokun slept without dreams, and Oba Eweka I ruled with a deeper understanding that a kingdom is not only built on strength and wisdom, but on memory. Epilogue. The quiet. Warning. Even now, elders say that if you stand in the grove at night, when the moon is thin and the air is still, you may hear it, not a drum, but a heartbeat, slow, patient, waiting, not to rise again, but to remind that the past is never truly buried, only listening